Hello, hello. Good day, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Enlightened World Network. I'm Tomas Garza, host of A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. And we've got some really beautiful, really powerful ideas to talk about today. Don't we always? That's a yes. All right. So thank you all for joining me, wherever you're joining me from. I really invite comments and questions on this show. So thank you to all of you who have tuned in the past and commented, who have shared the post. We all really, really deeply appreciate that. The network would love to get in front of as many people as we possibly can. So we appreciate all the page shares, the comments, the likes, the hearts, all of that. And another thing that I've said before that's worth mentioning, well, as many times as I remember to mention it, is the fact that it's really, really a beautiful thing to be able to share and interact with one another across the globe with people whom we're unlikely to ever meet in person. We can still have a profound impact in each other's lives. We can do that by asking questions if we've got them, by making comments if you have them. You never know who you're going to lift up in the process. You never know who you're going to assist on their own walk and their own journey by asking a question that someone else on the other side of the world may have. So this is something that I wholeheartedly invite and encourage you to do. All right. And this is something that has not happened on this live stream, but I'm going to have to step away for a moment and then we'll get right back into it because I know you can hear the background noise across the hall. So there's going to be a couple of seconds of dead air. My wife, Cindy, just went to yoga class and left her computer on full blast. Be right back. Now, where was I? All right. Yeah, when I tell Cindy about that, she's going to laugh. So this is free. You got that extra few seconds of me going across the hall to turn Cindy's computer off for free. Just like you got the fire alarm from Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. Free, completely free. We just threw it in there for entertainment value. This is one of the things that I love about doing a live segment. I used to have a live radio show on Om Times Radio. My podcast, Decide to Transform, was originally a live radio spot. And I broadcast every Tuesday for 6 months anyway, from 1919 to the spring of 2020. I broadcast every Tuesday at 10 o'clock Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern for an hour. And we had dogs barking. This was live. We had dogs barking. We had doorbells ringing. We had people's alarms going off. Once we even had one of my own alarms going off that I had forgotten to silence. And one time, my wife, Cindy, and I were living in Mexico at the time. We had a train go past on a live broadcast. Beautiful. With the whistle sounding and many, many cars, only a couple of blocks away from the house we were living in. So as you can imagine, we heard the entire thing live. And that was fun. We threw that in there for effect. All right. So having stepped away from the broadcast once already, as promised here in the description, we're going to talk about the ideas on offer in Workbook Lesson 147, which is really, really, it's really beautiful. This review period's wonderful because we start off with a declaration that we spend some time with, and that is, my mind holds only what I think with God. That's the centerpiece of this review period. My mind holds only what I think with God. I'm emphasizing that because, well, Jesus would like to emphasize this, Jesus being the author of A Course in Miracles, the one who dictated the course. So, yeah, only Our mind holds only what we think with God. This is the idea upon which we go forward and talk about the two other review ideas for the day. So we've said a lot about this, but we'll continue to repeat it because this is a framework from which the ideas that I'm about to talk about make more sense. They truly do. They make a little bit more sense in the context. So those ideas are lessons 133 and 134 in the workbook for students. Lesson 133 says, I will not value what is valueless. Okay, yeah. I will not value what is valueless. So this does mean that we value all kinds of trivial stuff. Now, when I'm teaching privately, I prefer to use another word for stuff that also begins with an S. And you could throw a B in there along with it. It's a B and S. I know you follow me. Yeah, it's what it is. Now, this is the situation. This is a statement of how we operate in the world. We value things that mean absolutely nothing. Do we not? I mean, is it really a big deal, some of the things that we obsess over? We throw a tantrum because the Wi-Fi connection goes off for 5 minutes. Shouldn't that tell us something? Right, and then it's back on, and we're back to the 21st century life with all of our modern conveniences. So why are we unhappy if we've got it all? Yeah, cash, money, fast, high-speed internet, cool, fancy cars, a nice place to live. Yeah, maybe you have good physical health, beautiful pool in the backyard with beautiful tropical plants out there, for example, and a brand new car and stuff. That's the one Cindy drove to yoga when she left her computer on. All right. Yeah, we value what has no value at all. I mean, think of all of the things that you in your life have obsessed over and worried about, spent time in the present moment, wasting the present moment, thinking about what's going to happen in 15 minutes or in 15 years or 30 years in the future, which does not exist. That or obsessing about something that you would have, could have, should have done, would have, could have, should have in the past, which is gone and not here. So we take ourselves away from the present moment all the time. One of the ways we do that is placing value, tremendous value, in the world, in the size of our Twitter following. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have people following you. That's the goal. But the ultimate goal is the peace of God. And this is one example of what Jesus means when he says, you do not ask too much of life, but far too little. The goal is the peace of God. The goal is knowledge, as the Course puts it, going home, yeah, awakening, enlightenment, name the term. The goal is to know ourselves, to know ourselves unequivocally, experientially, who we really are. And we're not, happily, the size of our Twitter following, which fluctuates every minute of every day. Gain followers, lose followers, right? That's the way the world works. It's Twitter in a nutshell, isn't it? Gain some, lose some. Somebody trolls you. Somebody loves your tweet. You get retweeted 1,000 times, and then somebody chops you down and slanders you. Yeah, that's life, right? That's what happens when we value the valueless. What happens to us, we mentally suffer. So this statement, lesson 133, is It's a declaration of freedom, isn't it? I will not value what is valueless. So I invite you to spend some time with that. I will not value what is valueless. Lesson 134. Let me perceive forgiveness as it is. These ideas are directly related to each other. Let me perceive forgiveness as it is. So, quick recap. You may know, and you've no doubt seen, that A Course in Miracles devotes a lot of time to forgiveness. It's heavy in the thought system. It's critically important. And as you might imagine, it means something very different than what we think of in the world. In the world where we value what is valueless, we see ourselves as in competition. We see ourselves competing with our brothers and sisters. We see ourselves competing with everyone around us for what we perceive to be scarce, limited resources. Our slice of the pie, so to speak. There is no pie. So there's no slice. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, let's contemplate that. All right. When we value what is valueless, we see forgiveness in a very different light than the one that A Course in Miracles invites us to practice. So usually in the world, we hold grudges, do we not? We judge. We hold grudges against people. And when we so-called forgive somebody, there's often some judgment attached. We might say, or someone has said to us, likely both, that, well, I'll forgive you this time, but if you ever do that again, I'll cancel your birthday. Yeah. And do some mean things to you. All hell's gonna break loose. Well, you're already in it. So if it happens to break loose, so be it, right? This is the way that many of us handle forgiveness. Now, we may have had a parent, maybe it was our own mother or father, or maybe it was a teacher at school, a friend, I don't know. We've all had the experience of having someone forgive us and then lord it over us, right? Feel superior to us. Maybe you've done this to somebody. Then when you forgive in that mindset, with that attitude, there's still a separation, isn't there? Because there's you on a pedestal having forgiven someone who's down here for having transgressed, right? Sinned against you. There is no sin. I'm just saying. Course in Miracles says that. This is me talking, by the way. It just looks like me talking. I invite you to delve into A Course in Miracles and discover the many passages where it states in no uncertain terms, sin is not real. God has no ego to be offended. A perfect love is not capable of anything but perfect love. And love is, as I know you've experienced, unitary. It's oneness. There are no opposites. So when people forgive with a ego attitude, with a worldly attitude, there's someone that's on a pedestal and someone who feels bad. That's all too common, isn't it? And we can all scan our memories and point to multiple experiences of this, either as the forgiver or the one being forgiven, right? On both ends of that spectrum. And yeah, my own mother was a absolute classic example of this type of so-called forgiveness. Now, in A Course in Miracles, it's very different. In the world, we're invited in A Course in Miracles, in this thought system, to consider that everything that someone does or says, including ourselves, is either an expression of love In other words, an extension of love, or it's a call for love. What is the appropriate response to someone's call for love? Quite naturally, right? It's to extend love. This is the attitude by which we forgive in A Course in Miracles. It's something completely different. The Course refers to it as true forgiveness. It's also known in certain circles, certain commentaries on the Course as quantum forgiveness. So whatever term you want to go with, it, when we practice it, rids our mind of unconscious guilt, of fear. And here's the beauty of it. It operates on levels so deep that we don't even necessarily see the benefit right away. That you do see it, I promise, over time, because when you become more forgiving, you'll notice yourself doing it more. You'll notice yourself seeing situations differently, looking at people in a different way, and you'll also notice yourself emotionally lighter. You'll notice yourself laughing more. You'll notice that you're kinder, you're more patient, you're more compassionate, you're more giving, yeah, all of that, happier, more joyful, more peaceful. Yeah, more peaceful. Forgiveness is, in fact, a miracle. It's a shift from fear-based thoughts to loving thoughts. True forgiveness. What we're doing is we are lightening everyone around us. The beauty of true forgiveness, as it is in A Course in Miracles, is it's just tremendous. The other person that you're forgiving, or people, no one needs to know. The other person doesn't have to know. Other people don't have to know. You don't have to email them. You don't have to call them on the phone. You don't have to broadcast it. You don't have to post on their social media feeds that you forgive them. Just do it in your heart to the extent that you're able to do it. Do that and extend it. All minds are joined. So any person's extension of forgiveness benefits every single one of us. Take this idea to heart, and you can have tremendous impact in your own life and the lives of everyone else around you. And if you don't believe me, well, that's all right. Try it. Yeah. Try it for a week, 10 days, a month. Try it and start with what you can forgive. This is something that in a teaching context, people often come to me and say, well, I can't forgive so-and-so. Okay. Start with what you can and work from there. I'm fully aware and fully cognizant that a number of us have suffered tremendous abuse in this lifetime. And some of you might be going through this right now, fully aware of this. We're all fully aware that this is the situation for many people. What I'm doing here is inviting you to start where you are. This is what spirituality is all about. We look at other people who are teaching, thousands of people worldwide who have a huge following, like the Pope, like the Dalai Lama, like Mother Teresa had, still has. Yeah, we look at these people and we think, oh, I can't do that. Really? Of course you can. They all started where you are. Start where you are. That's what we can do. If this means forgiving yourself for stubbing your toe, forgive yourself for stubbing your toe. And you go from there. Try it and see if you feel lighter. And as you begin to feel lighter, what you may notice is that you're more inclined to forgive again. This is a choice that we get to make in the present moment. It literally lightens our world. So these are the ideas for today. I will not value what is valueless. And let me perceive forgiveness as it is, the real forgiveness, true forgiveness. And bear in mind some of the things we've just talked about and what the potential impact of that can be for you. And I invite you to do that here. Okay, so thank you all for tuning in. We've had a couple people watching here live, and let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like to say hello. Just feel welcome to type this in the chat box here, and I'll be back live tomorrow. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day here.